Hey guys, this is Gilbert, and today we'll be playing Pan-Radiologist on Light Chess. Let's see what we get. We have a 10-2 game, not a big increment, but it'll help. Let's see what kind of Scotch game we get. So here I just like playing knight to b3, hitting the bishop, and then following up with a4, getting some space on the queen side. Notice I'm turning to play a5 with my knight and my rook supporting the pawn, trying to trap the bishop. So normally I get moves like a6 or a5, just stopping expansion on the queen side that way. I might just play knight to c3 after, if we get that kind of response. Okay, so we get the queen out, and they're threatening these two vital points. How to defend? Let's see. Knight c3 fails to mate. I'm looking at queen to e2, defending both pawns, defending the mate threat and the hanging pawn on e4. Nothing else really calls my attention. Bishop e3 just seems ugly. It's pinned. I wouldn't be able to recapture after captures. Notice that there's this pin going on my pawn. So let's play that. Queen to e2. We're still threatening this, although now there's an escape square for the piece. So let's just get our knight out. We want to offload the duty of defending this pawn. We're also defending our pawn even more, so overprotecting. That way maybe this rook can move in the future. We also want to find a safe space for our king. Maybe moves like g3 I can play. Going for some kind of kingside fianchetto. If I play g3, where is the queen going? Let's do that. Notice that our bishop has to come out somehow, or it's being blocked by the queen. Bishop g4 fails to gx h4. If queen to g4, I could just fianchetto. Notice that my knight is supporting my queen if they want a queen trade. Let's get rid of the castle. I wasn't expecting the queen to go all the way down to d8. I don't know why that was chosen. I thought maybe f6 was a good square, or going for some kind of queen trade would have been good. But no, we don't see that. So the bishop is earning our knight, but our knight is disposable. I don't really mind having double b pawns. That gives me the c file to work with, so I think I can just castle here. Although do notice that I do lose control of this square. If castles, captures, we have a fork here, so maybe I should address that. I could play a move like knight to d5, just hitting this bishop and getting in the way of this piece as well. Maybe e5 doesn't really cut it. e5, let's say pawn captures. Yeah, that doesn't work at all. So if castles, bishop here, captures back, knight here, I'd have to play a move like, I don't know, queen d1. I don't know if I want to play that kind of way. So I'm still considering knight to d5. Notice that he doesn't really want to capture. This is cover attack. Let's go for it. Our bishop is pretty good. Has a nice diagonal to work with. I don't really know where he belongs yet, so I haven't deployed him. Maybe to f4, trying to help e5. Who knows? So we get a retreat. I'm thinking just castles. Let's do that. Our king is tucked away now. His king is still in the center. If we can open the position, that's what we want to do. Might be difficult to, but I could start playing moves like f4 if I play king h1. And start trying to play that way. Okay, so the knight hops in. He's getting ready to kick my knight away. He can't really go to these squares yet, although if I move my knight, he'll have support. So I'm noticing that there's a potential skewer here on the queen and the rook. If I just kick, I can't kick, my pawn is pinned. What if I attack? No, that drops. I wanted to attack this bishop, but I can't, not in that way. So he's eyeing up this square after kicking me. So I need to do something about that. How can I take away this square? I could just go the other way with rook d1. Maybe bishop e3, bishop e3. I don't like leaving this pawn hanging. Let's see. Bishop e3, pawn up, knight here. We do get this skewer. So I don't like that. So knight f4 fails right away to just the bishop coming in. So I'm thinking just rook to d1, but at the same time we do get these kind of moves. So we gotta be careful here. Maybe rook to e1. Just getting out of the light squares. I do lose control of this f pawn. Just a little bit. Where's my knight gonna go? Is he just gonna go back? I think he's gonna go to f4. So let's do that. Maybe I could have also considered a queen move, but I didn't see anything that was popping out. So after c6, what am I gonna do? Okay, so we don't get that yet. I'm thinking maybe c3, preparing knight into d4. I'd like to have the pawn duel in the center. I could also just go for a knight f4 right away. I don't necessarily want to do that. I want to kind of get some tempo from him first before I do that. I could put my bishop here, and then after c6, capture. If he captures, I have pressure on this pawn, and I gain the rook. If he captures, I can retreat my knight. That seems like a good plan. So I'm trying to take advantage of the time being spent to make my own threat. This is an in-between move where I'm not reacting to my knight. I'm creating my own threat, which is going down on the g7 pawn. If need be, I can always retreat my knight back to c3, and then I can post a rook on the d file. Okay, so we get a blockage. I noticed that this diagonal is a little weaker, but I don't know if queen h5 is the right move right now. I don't think it is. There's just too many pieces surrounding his king for it to be good. Maybe c3, I don't know. I could play king h1. King h1 getting out of the pin, capture, and then play f4. Seems like an option. Let's go for that. Let's just get out of the pin for now. If g5, I'll probably just go to c1, bishop c1. Okay, so he decides to go queenside. Was not expecting that one. So now I kind of do want to trade off the dark squared bishops. Notice that if I do that, I have easier play against the king. So let's go for that. I think maybe the knight could capture. Let's see, who should capture? The queen? Let's take with the knight. Notice that I'm putting pressure on these squares. He doesn't want to capture because that opens a c file and I can put some rooks up, or I could even just play moves like this, opening up the position against the king. So I think we're doing quite well now. I could play f4 in the future. f4, is that just a weakness? Let's kick the knight, let's see where he goes. He might just go here. Notice that our knight is doing a good job of neutralizing the opposing knight. You can kind of see that when the knights are facing each other in this way, one square apart. I want to get this light squared bishop going. So maybe e5, I can start preparing that. Okay, so he's going for a trade. I don't really want to trade. Push looks good. Notice that I'm threatening the knight and the bishop. This knight is stranded now. I removed the defender by blocking a piece, blocking with a pawn. Okay, so he decides to trade. So here I was thinking captures, because I'm threatening the queen, and then I can capture this guy. I don't see anything wrong with that. So we're down to less than a minute and a half, so we gotta speed up. But notice that I got tempo on the queen here, which is why I did this. So now I got 2 minor pieces instead of 1. I did drop a pawn, but I don't think it's accurate compensation. Look at this king, he's exposed. I might be able to come in with my own queen. And then once this bishop gets rolling, it's going to be very hard to stop. This is a monster bishop, but he needs to have some open diagonals. So I am looking to play moves like e5. So he's hampering down my coordination. Let's go for a knight trade. I didn't see this knight contributing much to the game, and I think if I open up the position against the king, it'll be easier for me. I don't know if I want to sacrifice the pawn just yet. Let's go here. Let's put some pressure on this square. Notice the ping. Okay, so he doesn't let me push. Smart. Let's get the rook into possibly a square like d5. So our pieces are coming into play. I might put the rook on a5 soon. These rooks aren't really doing much to defend the king right now. They're not very active, especially this rook on d8 here. He's just kind of on the sidelines. I'm getting ready to play this now. Maybe I should have played it last turn. Yeah, I probably should have. Let's back up. We're still threatening the pin. I also want to play e5. Okay, so I'll just grab. I gotta make sure I don't drop this rook. So I'll probably just, if king up, well, king can't go up, the rook is there. But we have some nice threats now. What to play? Let's get the rook in front. Defend that guy. Maybe play a5, a4. Let's do that. Notice that he's stopping me from getting my bishop active, but I could try for this way. Let's go here. Joining this pawn maybe. He's getting his pieces in to defend, so that's good. Again, maybe this is on the agenda. I think I can just ignore that. So I'm turning to capture. What is he gonna do? Let's go here. I can put my rook over if need be. Queen over, check. I also have this idea. That was a mistake. 14 seconds, gotta hurry up. King's going back. Oops. Should have captured the queen. Living on the increment. And black resigns. Let's look at this game. I'm gonna do a little bit something different this time. I'm not gonna use the engine till the very end. I'm just gonna browse through the moves, see what I think is important. So this was a weird move. I hadn't really seen it in this line. I've seen it against the Scotch game. Notice that if here, right here, I've seen this move be played. Something like this. But I've never seen it against the knight going to b3. At this point, I've never encountered this, so I'm not sure if I played that right. But we'll check it after I browse through the rest of the game. I think queen e2 was the right idea. Just defending both squares at the same time. After a6, I didn't really know if I should be pushing. I didn't think pushing to a5 was leading to much. So I thought, why not just develop? And so g3, I'm also not sure if g3 was the right idea. It does help me get my bishop out, but I don't know. I'm just not too familiar in these lines. Queen to d8 I didn't like. So getting the bishop out seemed natural. Now knight to d5, I didn't know if it was too slow. I was considering just castling here. But what I noticed was that I was forfeiting this square on d4. Notice that after a move like castles, a capture here would result in this kind of position where I have to back up this pawn with my queen. I didn't know if I liked this position, and it didn't seem like it was the best one I could get, so I didn't go for this line. I wanted to plug up the influence of the bishop with my knight, because he's not going to capture, and this is a strong... I don't mind trading my knight for a bishop right now, even if he does in the future. So I thought bishop a7 was a good preemptive move. I mean, I don't know if I would have castled, but notice that if I would have captured, notice that it's something like this and I capture. There's always this idea where let's say I lose control after. It just opens up the position for things like this to happen. And notice the c file, it's just kind of hard to play against when this knight gets active on this d4 square. I don't know how much of a bother it would have been in this position, but it just seemed like it was giving too much activity for no reason. So yeah, that's why I didn't like this line. Maybe something like this. Who knows? Not really too sure. But anyways, I plug in the square, he backs up, I castle, get my king safe. Now here, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't expecting knight e5. I kind of was, because I knew he wanted to kick my knight away, but rook e1 was just sidestepping the light squared pressure. I wanted to go to d1, but then I noticed that there was pressure on g4, so I didn't do that. So I got my bishop out. I'm still not sure if this is the right idea, trying to capture this. I didn't really expect f6 because I thought he was going king side with his king. And after he pushed, I don't know if king h1 was the right idea either. So there was a lot of moves I was kind of iffy on. But after this point, I knew I wanted to trade the bishops. But I wasn't really sure what pieces to capture with. I think the knight was best because he's going to get kicked away anyways with a move like c6. Now f4, I don't know about f4 either. Why am I playing on the king side when I could be playing on the queen side? I like this move of f5. It kind of strands the piece, and so I win material with that one. This knight trade, I'm not too sure if it was the best either, but I liked the position I got at the end of it. The position was opening up, and my pieces were more active than his. I was kind of sloppy throughout this conversion, but at this point it was pretty much over. So let's see what the engine says. So he gets the queen out. Okay, so queen e2 is best. So glad I spotted that. Now it says to play g3 right away. I guess it changed its mind. Wanna overprotect this pawn so that this queen can do other things. So it does like g3. Okay, cool. Because that solves all of our development issues. But notice this knight d5 move is even suggested before the bishop is on e6. So I wonder what that's about. I didn't really like trading the bishops. I didn't see a reason to, but who knows. Oh, okay, so if I want to castle queenside, that makes more sense. I honestly didn't consider castling queenside because I saw my bishop would be shadowed on g2. So I thought, why go queenside when I can go kingside? But I do have some nice space with my knights, so it would be a good haven for my king. Sounds interesting. I'll have to look into these lines later. Sorry if I sound a little bit funny, I'm just kind of sick right now. So at this point, trade the bishops again. I don't know why, but I was hesitant to trade this bishop. I didn't really see the power behind this bishop. I know it has a good diagonal to work on, but I didn't see the big need in getting these traded. So now we trade, and it says queen takes. Okay, so what about after a move like c6? Okay, well that loses. So I thought that eventually he'd get kicked and I lose time. So I just captured with the knight. I liked my pressure on this square as well. Here, f4. So f4 was okay. So glad I spotted that. And here we just picked up some material. Notice that he could have avoided it by trading off the piece that was being attacked. An intermezzo, in-between move. So that doesn't work, so you would have to capture. Okay. So it gets so complicated with moves like rook here. Maybe not there, but you know, it can get a little rough with my queen. Okay. So yeah, there's just some back rank issues here for black. So it would have been interesting to go for this infiltration line. But honestly, I didn't really consider capturing with the queen. Okay, so the engine does like knight to d4, but it likes this pressure on the knight first and opening up the diagonal for the bishop even better. That's interesting. After captures, what do we do? Okay, we come in. Notice that if we play something like rook here, our pieces are just coming in play. Notice the pressure on this square. I could have captured right away. Let's see, what else do we have? Here I thought after getting the queen here, I didn't really want to trade my queen off. I thought I had so much pressure that, you know, it wouldn't be the right idea to do so. But I do have such pressure that I can kind of get away with it. Notice that I have a rook supporting me over here. And we can slowly improve our position while black can't really do much. Look at how he's stalling. His rook is babysitting a pawn just so this monster bishop doesn't get active. So I thought that was interesting. Here I wasn't sure what to do. I just thought, okay, let's get on the b file, link our pieces together. If king up, I suppose I can just push. So let's see, anything else? No, the rest was just pretty self-explanatory. There were some tactics I could have missed, but not much to talk about there. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please leave a like. Let me know if you liked it. Thanks for watching. Bye.